Brown skin girl, your skin just like a pearl. Hey guys, my name is Love Nafi, and you are watching another episode of Diaspora Diary. Today I'm going to go through a few tips that'll help you determine whether or not someone is truly culturally appropriating shit, or basically the haters are just doing the most. What is cultural appropriation? And, as we continue to grow in the movement, grow as brothers and sisters amongst one another, what are we allowed to do and what are we not allowed to do? So now what I'm going to do is share top 5 tips to make sure that you don't get caught up in this whole cultural appropriation BS, and that you kind of stay informed, so that way if someone ever asks you, are you culturally appropriating, or if you have to ask someone else if they're culturally appropriating, you have touched these 5 things first. So tip number 1, be inclusive. So make sure you're including people of the culture that you're representing in the work or in the activity that you're doing, so that way they can offer their input and kind of make sure that you don't cross the line in something that you shouldn't be doing. Tip number 2 is do your research. So, I get it, not everyone is meant to be a PhD or a scholar and can be looking up everything, but a lot of the times people run into trouble when they're actually misrepresenting something because they didn't do the proper research. They didn't take the time to see where that certain practice came from. And most times it's okay, it's just fun and games, leisure, nobody's really offended, but other times it can get really, really bad. Case in point is when Gucci did blackface. Tip number 3 is put people on the map. The reason why I love Beyonce is because, all this that she does with, representing, African pride, she puts people on the map. When you look at the people who direct her videos, who are involved in her creative process, who do her artistic vision, whether it's design or costumes or whatever, they're all people who are of African descent and also are either first generation or direct descendant line. So they know the culture, they know where these things coming from. And I think, she's very, very intentional with the symbols and things that she uses. So I'm pretty sure that someone on her team is definitely doing some research, because Queen Bee don't play that. Tip number 5. Understand that everything in this life is just one big appropriation. We are learning from each other. We are learning from pop culture, even though this is one big pop culture conglomerate. We can't really get offended when we all truly don't even know where something comes from. Even people in my own culture, and even people who have a closer connection to certain cultures, they don't necessarily know where everything comes from. They do it, they practice these things, but they don't know. And lastly, just try your best not to use certain things for money. So I mean that in a sense that, we're not exploiting people, we're not exploiting African children or African babies. We're not doing things just to make money when, our pride and our culture and our heart and our dignity is at stake. I mean, Beyonce does do art for money. That's what she does. And a lot of people do art for money. They make art for money, and we can't blame her. But I will say is that she did it in a way where we are happy, we are prideful, we are celebrating. It's not like she had, little African babies out there, poor and twerking and snotty-nosed. So I appreciate her for representing us in a positive light and using it as an opportunity to show the beauty and richness in African culture, beauty and aesthetic. So what are my final thoughts on Black is King and cultural appropriation? In my life, there used to be a time when I would take these things so personally, but now I'm kind of in this moment where I feel like Black love needs to be at the center, needs to be at the forefront, needs to be at the top of everything that we're doing. And if African Americans want to claim their own culture, it's not about claiming different cultures, it's about claiming their own culture and reclaiming their ancestry and their culture. I love it. I think we should let them have it, and we shouldn't be so divisive and attacking, and maybe use it as an opportunity to grow together, to learn together, and to also look in ourselves and see what we need to learn, what we need to discover, what our history truly is. again, guys. It's been wonderful sharing this video with you. Thanks again for watching another episode of Diaspora Diary. I'm releasing content every single week for you. Please stay tuned. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and share this video with your friends. I think it's really important that we keep this conversation going around cultural appropriation, so that way we're not so caught up in the